So, rewatching the video I made about my friend Shay who had passed away in my bed made me think about, because I did those drugs with her. Certainly not for as long at all, but I mean, it could have happened to me. And then you'd think I was so grateful to be alive, but I absolutely felt so guilty. And instead of just cherishing life, I actually went into a much darker path. At that point, I was already addicted to painkillers because I had this tumor on my ovary when I was 17. And they gave me, I'm playing with Mamba, so that's why I keep moving around and there's like a jingly bell in the background. But a month in, I couldn't walk after my tumor was removed off my left ovary. And so I was like bedridden for about 7 months, and they finally diagnosed me with myasthenia gravis. And my muscles had like atrophied because I had played softball for 8 years and I was active. And atrophy, it's painful. And I was like a really good kid, good kid. In all honesty, I was really sheltered. I never drank, I never did drugs. And I also didn't know that, that medication from the doctor could be addictive or dangerous or anything. I didn't know, and in life you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know that. And what I did realize is that it made me happy. And I was like, this is awesome, so instead of being in pain, I'm happy, even though I'm stuck in this bed and I have to use a walker to go to the bathroom at 17. So anyhow, I was already addicted to painkillers at that point, and, I just convinced myself that it was fine because it came from a doctor. So after Shay had died, of course, I was grateful to be alive, but I was devastated that I lost her, and I felt so guilty. And then, what is that, 4 years, or no, 2 years later, God, only 2 years. I had, not on purpose, but I had overdosed on Vicodin when they used to put 750 milligrams of acetaminophen in Vicodin, which thank God they don't do that now, but I had taken like 40 of them in about a 2-day span, and I passed out, and I just remember I didn't see like a beautiful light, I didn't see God, I just saw black, which is really scary to reflect upon. And they rushed me to the hospital. They tried to give me that charcoal stuff that makes you throw up. And that didn't work. It was too late anyways. The damage was done. And when your brain is like flooded with all the ammonia and the toxins that your liver normally filters out of your body, goes to your brain, you lose your emotions. It's really bizarre. Everything just becomes information. There's no feeling attached to anything. And they told me, your liver has failed. You need a transplant. We're going to put you in a helicopter and fly you to UCLA to get you a new liver. And I was like, okay. It was just like they might as well have told me, your potassium's low and you should eat more bananas. Like, oh, okay. It was so weird. And so they flew me there, and I don't remember anything after that phone call. And once I got the transplant in 9 hours, which is just insane, they told my mom that I had a 30% chance of survival. And out of that, about a 10% chance of surviving without permanent severe brain damage. And it is a miracle Sorry, it cut me off. It is a miracle that I am alive, and they had to do a double bypass. So I don't know if you can, God, I don't know if you can even see it. There's like this big scar from here all the way to there. And just so that nobody calls me a liar, because I'm really sick of that crap. And then I have the huge scar, and my muscles are separated, which is why it sticks out like that, which is just so lovely. And then I have all the little holes from where the drains were. There's some over there, and then I have this big scar from the other part where they bypass, they put a lead, or not a lead, but a catheter into the vein in your groin, the femoral artery. And then I also had like a bunch of catheters in here, and I woke up and this whole arm was like black because all the blood supply was cut off. I mean, obviously it's okay now. And I firmly believe that it really spiraled out of control, because even though I was so lucky to be alive, and, you know, I lived, but I beat the crap out of myself because I lived and Shay died. And thank God I eventually got therapy and I worked through it, because it wrecked me. It was so painful and I felt so guilty. And so to anybody out there that has been in a situation where the situation was pretty much equal to where it could have gone either way, it's normal to have that survivor's guilt. It's normal, and it's painful, and it's so hard. And the only thing that makes it better is time, crying. Just, you know, if you feel like you gotta cry, just cry. One day I spent a whole day just crying, and therapy, and writing about it, and talking about it, like what I'm doing right now. And I've just made a decision that if I get negative crap comments, that I'm just gonna delete them, because it's useless, you know, it's pointless. I'm sharing something personal. I'm sure somebody's gonna, I don't know, say something rude, because that's just the way it is. But to people who have survived something where somebody died but you lived, it will get better. But there are things you have to do. You have to get therapy, and if you don't like your therapist, you know, switch. There's a ton of places that are sliding scale or free if you're under a certain income. And EMDR really helped me with the visions, because I kept seeing it play like a movie. Finding her, not finding her, she was in my bed, climbing over her and then realizing that she had died, and then touching her. That whole scenario just went over and over and over again in my head, and EMDR really helped. But the bottom line is it gets better. It does get better. It took me, if I would have started therapy sooner, especially after my transplant, because that was a whole nother guilt trip, because then I felt guilty. I was like, oh, how come I lived, but the person whose liver I got, they died, you know? So that was a whole nother thing. But once I started doing therapy and just talking about it and just being heard, it helped. So get a therapist, journal, cry if you need to, and give yourself the time. And if somebody that you're around can't give that to you and be accepting, then they probably shouldn't be in your life, because when you have survivor's guilt, it's just there. It's just there all the time. So and until you work through it. So yeah, just ask me whatever you guys want if you want to. Thanks.